In this video, I'm going to take you through the features and functions available for site roaming within the KENWOOD products. These have been added to over the years and have become quite comprehensive. And the new NXR 1700 has added a very, very important feature for some users, and that is the ability to do this in analog as well as digital. That can be used in digital with the existing base stations, but the analog function is only available within the NXR 1700-1800 series. KENWOOD's site roaming is a very simple system to set up and covers a wide area, up to 16 repeaters in standard configuration, which can be extended as well. It's very simple to install, operate and maintain, and in operation you simply turn the radio on as you would for a single site system, and the radio will then power up. And the difference you'll notice is as the radio comes up, you will get a purple light flashing. Now, from the user's perspective, what that means is the radio is not locked onto a particular repeater site. Simply pushing PTT will start a call and make sure that all the radios lock onto that site. Now, the purple LED also indicates out of range. So if you drive away from site and you drive completely out of range of all of the repeaters, the purple light will come on. It will also come on if you change zones and move to another system, but simply pushing PTT quickly will lock you onto that site. Now, in order for this to automatically happen, the repeaters, and in this case we have the NXR 1700 and the TKRD, are both set up, and they are both sending a beacon. So every 30 seconds there's a small transmission, and that allows the radios to lock onto that. Now, if the radios were mobiles or working in a different environment, you might change that time, because all this time really does is make sure that the radios will change from one repeater to another automatically. When a call comes in, as soon as the radios receive that call, if it's really poor, in other words, the user has walked out of range, then the radio will scan and find a stronger repeater. Or if it's completely out of range, the purple LED will come on and you'll know that you've moved out of coverage area. To demonstrate how this works, we have all three radios on site 1, which is the NXR 1700. So what I'm going to do to demonstrate this is pull the power from the NXR 1700, and you can see now the display has gone out. As we watch the radios, you will see that they will all automatically scan off to site 2. One typical scenario for the wide area site roaming, which is very common, is for a company to have 2, 3, 4 buildings and for them to be independent and running themselves during the day. So you have each building, when you key up your radio, you go out and everyone within that building hears you and controls that call. During the night, when security are active, you'll probably find that there's not more than one security guard in each building, and in fact it may be just 2 or 3 security guards running around a whole number of buildings. So you want to be able to go out on all of the repeaters. You simply address this with a group call. So within a group call, you can decide whether it will light up 1 site, 2 sites, 3 sites, or all sites. In order to implement this, we need to look at the software. So if we look at KPG-D7 and we go straight to the group assignment page, you will see on that we have a number of GIDs or group numbers, whether they're valid in the table, and then the site group. And that this is either local or site group 1. So on our particular system here, you're either transmitting on the local channel, which is just the single repeater, or you are addressing site group 1. And site group 1 is for group call 103, 104, 999, priority group, or an all call. If we then look at that, how that is constructed, we will see that the site group also has another table. And the site group table here, we can see site group 1 is tied to 3 repeaters. So when site group 1 is selected, repeater 1, 2 and 3 will all light up with a call. So from a user's perspective, you simply change channel, which will allow you to select a different group. And that group in this particular case is either all 3 sites or just the site you are local to. Within KPG-D7, we also need to enable the site roaming mode, and this gives us a beacon. And you can see on the screen here that we have a host repeater, which is the primary. What that means is this one controls the timing. So it sends a pulse out to all of the other base stations over IP to say, start sending your beacon now. The beacon duration is 720 milliseconds and the time between beacons is 30 seconds. So the beacon is merely something which goes out for all of the radios to know that they are in range. It also allows them to change repeaters because the beacons are all go at the same time. All the repeaters then scan round the available channels and select the best one. We next need to move to KPG-D3 in this case, or KPG-D6 if we were using NX1000 series terminals, and then go to global options, scan and site roaming. And you see there's a lot of things to adjust here. Now, when we were looking at the radios, they were flashing a purple LED. This is where the purple LED is switched on or off, and you can select off or different colors. What that does is it allows the user to know that they're not locked on a channel, and obviously gives them an out of range indication. There are a number of settings here for timer and roaming levels. Roaming levels are quite complicated to understand, but quite simple in operation. Quick site roaming, -80 dBm, means that when the system scans, so when the radio looks at the different repeaters, if it finds one that's incredibly strong, it doesn't continue looking to the other ones. The standard site roaming level is the level that it considers to be usable. So the radio will scan, it will read the RSSI, and if it is above this level, so it's stronger than -110 dBm, it will then evaluate that as a possible channel to use. If when in a call the RSSI drops below 120, the site roaming resume, the dwell time starts. When the dwell time has expired, if that level is still as low as -120, it will then go into scan mode and try and find a better repeater. This process will occur when a radio goes out of range and also triggers the purple LED so as the user knows they're out of range. If another repeater is available, you may not even see the purple LED flash. It may be very, very quick. The link delay time of 300 milliseconds is the time that the radio waits from when it receives a beacon before it looks at all the other beacons. And typically this is set for a period of latency for the IP network. So typically start at 300 and if necessary, reduce this down or increase this based on your network delays. The dropout delay time is the amount of time that the radio will wait between beacons. So if it hasn't seen a beacon within 31 seconds of this time, it will go into scanning mode. One of the other key features that's available is IP Connect for consoles and for recording, and these can be very, very useful on wide area systems. In order to enable that, it's simply a matter of switching on those two functions. So if we look at KPG-D7 again, we can see that within KPG-D7, on this page is the dispatch positions, and we have one dispatcher on this system, which is UID 10,001, but we can have up to 10 dispatchers that are active. And what we can also do is have voice logging, and the voice logging is using G711, and all we are doing is setting a voice logger ID, an IP address, port number, and in this case 2 port numbers because we have 2 talk paths, one for slot A and one for slot B. As you can see from this very quick run through of configuration, it's very straightforward to set up a wide area IP connected system that allows the radios to move between locations and automatically always be ready to talk. From a user's perspective, all you're doing is pushing PTT and talking. You don't need to set the particular location that you're at. Now, you can have this that you have to use specific group numbers in specific locations, but it is more normal that wherever you go with your radio, you push PTT and talk. It takes away all of the complicated things that a wide area system requires and moves them into the radio and away from the user. The specific features and functions can be quite variable between different types of system. So if you'd like further information on how this would apply to your particular environment, then please contact KENWOOD.